So for our next team, we have Team8. Team8, Stefan will be coming on stage. Team8 is a connectable watch and universe for kids to create superheroes. So it's a very inspiring story, and I'll let Stefan talk about Team8 and his product.
Hi everyone, I'm Stefan, I'm the CEO of Team8, and since I'm a little kid, I always dreamed to do this. But I wasn't the super fit kind of kid, so I was too ashamed to wear a superhero costume. Later on, the joke turned on me as I grew up as a morbid obesity adult, and I lost 80 kilos in 2003. And I wondered myself, am I the only one to daily struggle with this kind of issue? And realized that no, it's a huge problem all over the world. And actually, Asia is the fastest growing market, leading to 1.9 billion people overweight in the world, knowing that it's the first cause of death. So we thought, how can we address that? How can we engage kids in something as boring than health when the only thing they think about is to play, avoiding parents to be the bad cop? We thought the best things to do is to let them play. So we created Team8. It's a universe for the kids where they're going to create their own superhero. They can choose if it's a guy or a girl, and the hero going to live inside the watch, or we are doing a software version that can turn any Android phone to a secure, safe Team8 device. We have our first version that I have right there, already selling in France. And we found an ODM partner with who we're working on the second version that will include 4G and a heart rate monitor. As we said, the hero creates his own superhero. So it starts as a kid figure superhero, so it's very easy for them to engage. And it grows depending on how the kid's going to choose. So if you put everything on a strength, the hero stays small but get very massive. If it's everything on a speed, it gets tall but thin, so you have to learn to balance. We also have some educative games to push education for the kids. They can use this superhero in many games. We have a fight game, strategy game, memory game, reflex game. We also have sport and educative games. But to do all those games and activity, the hero gonna need energy. So it's gonna feed from the kid energy. This way we motivate them to do sport and exercise. But the main idea behind Team8 cool, fun gaming universe is to create the first health platform dedicated for kids. So we have already a reminder for medication. You can do also allergy check. We include eyes profiles in case of emergency. And we are working and talking about other programs for ADHD, hemophilia, diabetic, hospitalization. The watch includes a SIM card, allowing parents to do GPS tracking, SMS, phone calls, video calls. They also have an agenda where they can actually lock the watch during school time or night time. So this device is 3G. We're working on the 4G with all the features, and we already know the features we will develop for 5G version in 2 years. The watch have all the features kids love, video player, music player. We are even open to other editors, but with the same idea. For 1 hour entertainment, I need to do first 1 hour physical activity. We're already selling in France. We are more in the fitness tracking and gaming industry, not a medical device. We want to be the Pokemon for health, like in the middle of all those universe. Because we don't consider ourselves as hardware company. We are looking for hardware brand to do co-branding, like Acer, for example, in order to reach all the big B2B. We're already talking with the 5 biggest telecoms company here in Taiwan, insurance, school, hospital, in order to, from B2B, reach the B2C. What we find out is all those big corporates actually are very interested in Team8 because instead of fighting for customers' attention when they're going to turn 16 or 18, they can reach and do brand awareness earlier stage. Why reaching a kid? Because actually you're not reaching one person, but you're going to reach 7 persons. And mainly, kids of today are your customers of tomorrow. So we are working here, already starting to work with local team, developers, and we think Taiwan is a great place for us to start on international market, also to use Taiwan as a hub to reach all Southeast Asia and US in the future. So we did some survey here with very positive feedback, and we want to focus in the next year on Taiwan market. If you can see all our competitors focus in one part of the problem, when we are the only one to actually be useful for the kids, the parents, and also engaging for the kids. So our business model have many revenue streams. We are more focusing on the software as it's high margin and recurrent revenue. We are looking for right now $750K for a second fundraise in order to create the team here and start the sales in internationals. So our team have all the skills necessary for Team8 success, and we won many programs and contests. And to sum up, Team8 is empowering for the kids, health and education, but also communication with the parents. Thank you very much for your attention. 谢谢.
That was right on time. That's great.
Yeah, I had to speed up a bit.
Hi, Stefan. I'm Flora. I like the way how you.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the way how you start with your presentation with your own true story. It's
Thank
really,
you.
yeah. I think it's a very great start. I'm just curious what's the incentive for the kids to keep using the watch every day? Yeah.
So actually, by playing together, they're going to collate points, and those points make their hero stronger. So it's kind of the effect about you want your hero to beat your friends' heroes and the competition kind of. And we also going to provide new games every month. It's little games, so it's not complicated to do.
We create our own contents.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We created the whole universe. Like there is literally billion of combinations possible. So it's always very engaging for the kids because you want your hero to get always bigger, stronger, faster, and have more superpower and all.
So they have to interact with the people who also have the watch, right? If they don't, they just...
Oh no, they can play alone, but it's funnier to play together. Like it's like every video games, you know, like most of the time.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have 2 daughters in elementary school, so I'm your target audience.
All right, we
But
can
they are
talk
not
later.
overweight. And I have a question is that in my daughter's school, there's teachers do not allow they bring any smart device to school.
Yeah.
And how do you solve this problem?
So first, as I mentioned, the parents can lock the watch. So during school time, the watch is locked on the screen. So we just give time, and I cannot do that and have access to the content. So it's not like for them, it's not bothering for school time. But also, as we have educative content, we actually pushing to school and educating kind of the teacher about the watch to make them understand that it's good for the kids' health and education, and not just only a game, you know, and not only like a communication device for the parents. It's actually go in the concept of the school. Hi.
Stefan, where do you, this initial storytelling was awesome, by the way. So
Thank
that was
you.
a really good way to bring it forward. As you started to talk, though, it started to feel like this is a platform for, I'll say, advertising and marketing, which it sounds a little bit like it is. I don't know. But where do you draw the line? Because the story was this is educational, it helps kids move and be active, which is great, a great message. And then you talked about there are lots of companies that want to target that audience, which at least from a Westerner's point of view, people get a little bit maybe overly sensitive about, are you selling products to my child, basically?
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line in your sort of philosophy as a company between this is good content and this is not good content? Like, how do you, I guess, message to corporations what you'll accept in terms of advertising and I noticed in-app purchases and stuff like that? Because I think some parents don't want that part of it.
Yeah, and we don't want neither, actually. I will define the line on two reasons. First, my personal ethic, that is actually higher than the law. But even on the law side, in France, US, and I think even in Taiwan, you cannot do advertising directly to kids. So in the watch, you will never have advertising. All the interest of those people is to actually reach a new market. So for example, telecoms, as our target is from the moment you start to read to the moment you get your own smartphone, so like 5 to 10 or something, we can help them to reach new customers, right? We can help them to sell more subscription, more data to a new audience. It's not about pushing too much their brands. We're not going to show up like messages and advertising on the watch. Also, like
So it's getting more devices out there to take advantage of those companies' bandwidth and programs, not a conduit of information to a child.
yeah, no, we don't put like direct, and anyway, on a legal point of view, we won't be allowed to do direct communication and advertising.
I don't remember exactly which slide you showed, but there was one where I kind of felt, I didn't get that message. I'll just say it
Yeah.
that way. It may have been clear up there, but it didn't come across that way.
Actually, I had to speed up a little because I took too much. But on the business model, I usually say that we don't sell the data. Like we don't use the data we're going to collect to sell to Coca-Cola or whatever. So we are very ethical on this point of view, and for us it's really to aim in order to aim good health and good habit for the kids. For example, insurance companies are very interested because we do prevention on health. So studies show that if you invest €1 on prevention, you're going to save €2 for adults, but 5 for kids. So even just that is interesting for them. Thank you.
Hi, Stephen. I'm Lucia. Yeah, again, impressive about your speech. Just one question, because you mentioned your competition, majority are really the big companies, right?
Yeah.
So what's your customer acquisition plan, and what's the cost so far you have seen? And what do you think you can really beat those giant companies?
Yeah, because most of the time, giant companies do one thing, right? Like you have Disney, for example, that do very good entertainment, very good universe. You have Acer or like Huawei or big technical hardware company that do very well that. And right now we're doing kind of both because we have to, but that's why also we're looking for those kind of partnerships, because we know we're not going to do everything on our own very well. But I think so then our core advantage will be more compared to Disney, for example. Disney, they have many great brands like Marvel, Star Wars. Actually, you could see on the competitors, 2 of our competitors, the biggest one, bought the same license. They both find out with the same product with Star Wars and Marvel license. We created our own license that is engaging, kind of like, you know, Tamagotchis, and so very emotional link with the kids. And I think it's our advantage compared to big license like Disney. Instead of dreaming to be Captain America, you're going to create your own. It's going to evolve with you and with your choices, something that you cannot do like with big license. Captain America is Captain America. You're not going to change his way to be. You're not going to decide anything. So I believe our core value is about how to engage the kids in a different way than those big license. And for the hardware is Right now, we're working with a big local ODM partners, but I don't think we have any added value on the hardware. So it's why it's important for us to find the right partner to co-branding, which can be useful for them also to reach new market and do early brand awareness.
Alternative, in your view, that for the parents or for the kids to achieve the same target or same goal?
Sorry, I did not
What's
hear
the
that.
alternative
Oh,
solution in
yeah.
your view that the parents or the kid can acquire it?
Yeah.
I mean, besides using your solution.
So other devices just do, yeah, like right now for parents, most of the time they bought, you know, on Alibaba you can buy for $50 like some communication watch. What happened is when they buy it, after like 2 or 3 weeks, they find out that kids don't wear it anymore and they have to push the kids to wear it or force them because it's not engaging for the kids. Also, you have some, in the survey we asked the priority of parents, and the first came health. And in the survey we asked them, what do you do to follow and track the health of your kids? 50% of people said we don't do nothing. They don't have any solution. So it's where I think there is a missing part here in the market where parents concerned on health of the kids, obviously, but they don't have any right device. And it's where most of the time all our competitors, or they do something for the parents, or they do something for the kids. But I think it's where we manage to reach both needs and desire. Thank you.
It was a great presentation. I love the thing you do with the shirt. Definitely classic. The thing that I'm seeing here is, you know, I think about my nieces, and you know, they'll say what they want for Christmas, and anything that mommy decides to give them, they don't want. They want to tell her what they want. So at the end of the day, my question is, what is keeping these kids from keeping the device on their wrist? I saw that you made some good points about how competitors have failed because kids buy, you know, it's the product is bought, but then the kids get tired of it. Then I think you mentioned that you're providing some incentives. Can you talk a little bit more about those incentives? It looks like you had some sort of gamification or some sort of karma. I feel like behavior is going to be a big element of success. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with you. That's the key point. So it's where we for example, one of the rules of the game is to unlock your superpower, you have to be part of a team of 8 and create your own team of 8, reason of the name. So basically, kids gonna motivate each other also to wear the watch, like to get their own devices. So, and also it's gonna be very addictive to them because like as what we find out in the way they're using it actually right now is as we planned it to be this way, but there is no two kids that using the same way. We both have a smartphone. I'm pretty sure we don't have the same apps in it. I'm pretty sure we don't use it the right same way. So for kids, some kids prefer to do the educative games. Some kids prefer the fight games. Some kids prefer the sport games. So it's why we created this whole universe with rules, but after we let the kids decide what they want. And it's why also I agree, it's important for us to provide monthly new features, new games, to keep it always interesting, and basically to grow from a little superhero to the big one, it takes you 1 to 2 years. So it takes time, and it go like exponential. So it's easy at the beginning to make your hero grow, but the deeper you go, the harder it is to step another level. So it's all designed to be quite addictive. And the watch is Android based, so it's easy for other people to adapt or create content in the watch. So for example, some other games that I could have mentioned, if tomorrow they want to create a version that fits in the watch, we'll be more than happy to and welcoming it.
Yeah, and I didn't see anything about your customer acquisition costs, but it seems like that has a large potential for a viral growth, particularly if you can get the economics right of these kids actually sharing with others. You said you have to have a team of 8. So there seems to be this FOMO component, this fear of missing out. And if you can somehow get these kids to actually, share that in a way that's compelling, where it's like, I have this, you don't. I feel like that can be a big part of it, just to kind of keep that customer acquisition cost. Because otherwise, you're in a space that, you have, I've seen, 6 competitors just on your screen, and you can believe they're, really outspending on marketing. They have larger budgets. So I believe this viral component has to be a big element and to be really clearly thought out.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. It's why at the beginning we want to focus on the B2B side to have those first watch in schools and those first watch in those community, because we know once you have one there, it's going to grow and it's going to become viral. So the hardest part, as you mentioned, is to get this first one. By finding the big corporates' interest, and make sure that, for example, we had one Nestle who bought 50 watch from us to do a social network campaign in Portugal. So that's a way for us to just have like some advertising for free. Actually, they bought it, so we even had some money out. And the main thing is those watch gonna be spread in some new region, and those B2B gonna use us to show like how good they are with the kids, but also then spread the message for us.
Stefan, I think that was definitely a great presentation, but it kind of confused me. Maybe it's just me, but as an investor, it would look great when you'd say how addictive this platform is going to be for the kid. But as a parent, then I start fearing. So it's kind of a conflict over there. But I think generally from a presentation perspective, there was one word that really scared me. It was the word addictive. So because you can't tell if the investor is going to be a parent or not, so maybe change of wording in general. But I think generally the flow of the presentation was great. I think what my question would be is, do you see yourself in a bigger picture of things, in the longer run of things? Do you see yourself as a hardware device company? Do you see yourself as a software platform? Do you, platform, or do you see yourselves as a content creator? Because this would affect how you want to take this business forward, whether you want to be a more hardware agnostic play over just producing your own devices, where your revenue is going to come from, or what are the contributions? Is it going to be in-app payments in future? Is it going to be device hardware? How is that weightage going to shift over time? I think that core positioning is something that would be something most investors would be concerned with. So I don't know what you think.
We definitely don't consider ourselves as hardware company, that's for sure. Actually, for me, the goal right now is to sell enough watch to have like big partners and just become a license to them. So we create the software, we give them, we get percentage of every sale. That's my main goal. After, between a platform and content provider, it's kind of tricky because the whole thing is that differentiates us from Disney, for example, is the fact that we have a good impact on the health. Disney, Nintendo tried that. They failed, as big as they are, because nobody, I think, trusts them so much to care about the kids. I think as it's our core value and as have been a personal experience, people might trust us more. Also that we do the partnership with hospital and all. But I know that we will be successful when we will have the cartoon on TV and the comic book selling and stuff, because then it's generating revenue, but also advertising for you. So like we actually created the whole universe and story for later on, but that's kind of the goal we aim to become like the Pokemon for health and be in the middle of those.
I personally think it would be very interesting to see how you could evolve this into with your IP, with your core content, how do you evolve this into a full platform, just focused on kids. I think back in the day when Android first came out, there are multiple versions of Android that were designed to be adaptive for very specific uses. Now we're seeing for aging population. There are certain formats of versions of Android that are designed for a certain purpose. And if you could be that version, the standard for kids' health and safety monitoring, I think, and you start building an ecosystem around that, I think might be a very interesting positioning going forward.
That's our goal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or if you have any questions for the mentors, you can ask them too.
Yeah, so Stefan, I think we'd met earlier on. So, yeah, great presentation, and
Thanks.
I think it's great. It's a great mission. My one suggestion maybe would be to. There's a simple fact is that I don't think we would understand your presentation because we're not kids. So.
I don't think kids will understand the presentation.
Right.
They'll understand the
Well-
you give them and the presentation is done. Like
My point is, this is a very competitive space, and smart watches for kids definitely sell, or any kind of products like these sell. So my one suggestion would be to lead with the numbers rather than anything else. Talk more about what you've done with Nestle. Talk more about what you've done with other big partners. And then I think everything else is just sugar on top of that. Thanks.
yeah, I understand like your comment.
Hi, Stefan.
Hi.
So I'm very curious about, you say you're selling in France already, correct?
Yeah.
How is that done? Is that through a telco?
No, right now we done it in France through our own marketing and stuff because I love my country, but it's a very tricky market. For example, when you talk about GPS tracking on kids, actually in the first contest we won was with Orange Telecom, and they did some kind of big marketing test for us from the very beginning. And what we find out is parents' first feedback and impression in France is, oh, I don't want a spy on my kid. I don't want a virtual leech on my kid. And so it happened to be in France very complicated for all, even our competitors. There is no like big trend in that and big leader in this market in France because we have some kind of principle that makes sense a bit, but when you have a kid 5 to 10, you should always know where they are. There is no privacy here to not know. So we find out that here in Taiwan and Asia, actually it's the reverse. The first thing people ask me when I show the watch is, do you do that? And if we don't, we know they're not going to be interested. So it's why we want to focus here, and it's why in France we had a slow start just to prove reaction of the kids and collect some but not as much, and that we decided to focus on international at first before, instead of fighting to grow in a market that is not that interested.
Actually, I was going to make a point, but you made that point for me already. As a Taiwan parent, my number one question is how do I track my kid?
Yeah.
And actually, what I was going to say, the point I was going to make actually was that would be the killer app for a Taiwan parent.
Yeah.
So, but you didn't quite answer my original question, which was, how is it being sold in France? It's okay. It's not through a telco. It's not through Orange. Or
It's because for Orange, for example, there was like, we love the project, we love the concept, everything, but right now for us, big telecom is too tricky to get into this field. So they don't sell in France. None of the telecoms sell a GPS tracking kids device.
Right.
Because for them, they know that if they do that, there is like 1% of the market that gonna scream and shout so loud that do a revolution, we're good at that. So like they gonna protest against them to track the kids, even if it's not what we do, like only the parents can do and we don't use the data, but their first impression in France gonna be that. So like those telecoms just drop the ID.
Okay, okay. So the audience here doesn't know we've known each other for a while. So you've made a huge progress. It's congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leland. By the way, Leland is an ad hoc mentor. He's been part of our mentor for a long time, and he showed up today, so we put him into the mentor madness. Just so you guys know who he is. And we want to remind you guys that people in the audience, you have to take note and understand and take it in, because at the end we'll show you a QR code and it's outside as well. I want you guys to vote on your favorite team, and we'll pick 3 winners to eat lunch with these crazy mentors. So listen and give the feedbacks to the teams as well. So thank you for the...
So teammate.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. 谢谢.